All right, we'll start with Zachary. He wants to know what the current health status is of the safeties.
I think pretty good, Joey. What do you have? Mike Mitchell got hurt, so yeah, that isn't great. Calf injury for Mitchell. As we're taping this, no update there. It didn't look pretty, him walking off the field, and he obviously has had some history with the calf this year. That is a big loss, Joey, when you start thinking about sub packages and you start thinking about, how you want to play on Sunday or on Saturday against the Chiefs. Do you feel comfortable putting George Odom out there? Is it a Nate Hairston thing? What do you do? Because you have that nickel package pretty much locked down. I think you're going to have to play a lot of dime. And I thought in my mind, Mitchell could have been maybe a guy that you would have used on Travis Kelce. So I would say right now it doesn't look great on Mitchell, but who knows? If it was a slight strain, maybe he still plays. But hopefully we'll get a little bit more of an update later today. But as far as Geathers, Hooker came back in the game with the foot, and Geathers looked fine to me. So I assume maintenance for a lot of those guys this week. I'd be surprised if they practice too much. But you better figure out that sub package. J.J. Wilcox did not play. He was down or upgraded from doubtful to questionable, so that would indicate maybe a good sign of him at least being back.
All right, this is sorry to interrupt there.
No.
This is from Sports and Kicks, and we're just going to group this into because there's a lot of questions about Nyheim Hines and why he wasn't out there as much as he usually is, and they want to know why didn't Hines get more playing time / make more of an impact against the Texans?
Yeah, it was 9 snaps, Joey, for Nyheim Hines on Saturday. I want to say the Colts had 72 offensive snaps. Something like that. 9 is obviously incredibly small amount. And it's a really small percentage. It's not like you had 40-some snaps. I was surprised to see Hines play so little. It's something that I wanted to get to Frank Reich yesterday in his conference call, but just didn't have a chance to do this or to do that. But I'd assume it's just more of a run game focus. Marlon Mack played a ton of snaps, so clearly you really wanted to pound it with Mack. And I don't think you got into too much of a spread passing situation. Mo Alley Cox outsnapped Eric Ebron. So clearly there was a focus there of really wanting to pound the football. So I think it was a lot more game plan specific. Still, I'm very surprised we didn't see a single target or a single carry for Nyheim Hines.
Something designed for him, yeah.
Right. I guess he had one touch on the Pascal reverse.
True.
Hines caught it and then pitched it back to him. But yeah.
All right, Andrew says, I feel that Travis Kelce will be a big part of the equation for the Chiefs to win. How will the Colts scheme to stop him?
The Colts are the worst defense in the NFL against tight ends.
Yeah, New York, they were shredding them on that. I remember.
Yeah. Ertz and Goddard had a big game against the Eagles. But, it's really been a while since they faced a tight end-centric, I don't know if tight end-centric offense is the right way to describe the Chiefs, but an elite tight end.
Yeah.
This argument of who can hurt the Colts more, is it death by 1,000 paper cuts with Kelce down the field, or is it Tyreek Hill and a couple chunk plays over the top? I think that's an interesting debate and something Matt Eberflus will probably have to look into. I don't know if there's one player on the Colts that you would just assign to Travis Kelce. Could Clayton Geathers fill more of that role? I know he's had some good and some bad moments in pass coverage.
Would Leonard find himself on the scene with him at all?
Part of me thought that, Joey, but then it's like if you vacate the middle of the field, if Leonard goes out of the middle of the field, I could see Tyreek Hill on crossing routes just killing the Colts. And plus, Patrick Mahomes can make some plays with his legs. I know he doesn't scramble a lot, but he just keeps plays alive. So I don't have a great answer for that. The Colts have struggled against tight ends this year. We know that they've struggled lately just against bootleg plays. Watson missed Ryan Griffin wide open on what could have been a touchdown on Saturday. So I think that's something to where Matt Eberflus has to find a balance. He's got to find a balance in a couple of areas. One is how many resources you want to commit to the pass rush versus drop in coverage. Rush 4, drop 7. Do you want to do that against a much better offensive line? Kansas City's got a pretty good O-line. And then the other balance he has to decide between is how much do you want to take away the underneath zones Or how much do you want to say, look, we'll give that up, we'll sound tackle, and you go 10, 12 plays on us to try and score. And you got to hope that you bow up in the red zone and are able to force some field goals.
Right.
Those, I think, are the big keys on the defensive side.
This is from Indy Colts coverage. Should we expect to see more out of the offense in the second half?
Well, you're going to have to. And the Chiefs' defense is nowhere near the Houston defense. But I think a big thing is you've got to stay ahead on the scoreboard, and you got to stay ahead of the chains. If you look at the Chiefs' defense, and we'll probably get into a lot more Chiefs talk than I was planning on, but I'm sure we're going to have so many questions about it, and we'll double back on Thursday. The Chiefs lead the NFL in sacks, total sacks. They're 8th in sacks per pass attempt. So they have a pretty good pass rush. Now, how they lead the league in sacks also comes from they get off to great starts and leads, and then they pin their ears back. But that stat, 8th in sacks per pass attempt, that's more of a general, just a better idea of how effective their pass rush is. They've got some guys up there, man.
Mm-hmm.
D Ford, Pro Bowler, Justin Houston, still doing it amidst all the injuries. Chris Jones in the middle. And these are guys that Chris Ballard had a big hand in drafting.
Is Tamba Hali out there still?
Oh, I think Tom was gone.
Yeah.
I think, boy, that guy was around for a minute, wasn't he?
I'll look it up.
So I think it's just so key for you to stay ahead of the chains and make sure that you aren't in these obvious passing situations. And that's why I do feel like the Colts have a sort of blueprint that can be successful against the Chiefs in terms of running the football. They're the 30th ranked yards per carry defense in the league. That's vastly different than the Texans. I think you can run it, play keep away to a degree, and not give up the big play, and you're going to have a shot late.